In our panel, again, Mark Berry was the 2009 winner, also the 2008 winner. He's with Chapman Lindsay Commercial Real Estate. Terry Aletta, Synergy Commercial Real Estate. And Tom Neiman from Pikeport. And we'll let Mark start it off.
All right, first thing I need to adjust this mic because it's set up for Brenna. It's down to my knees here. All right, everybody hear me okay? Good afternoon. Thank you everybody for being here at the forecast today. Thanks Mike and to all the other CCIM chapter officers for putting all the effort into setting this thing up. It's really an amazing thing that we have this each year. And George, as always, thanks for your good humor. That's always a nice kickoff. So I'm here to talk about office vacancy. Before I get to that, I'm going to talk about something that's related, a little different. Last year I started out talking about ghost signs. You know, those empty, dilapidated, run-down monument signs that exist all over town and clutter up our fair city and nobody does anything with because they're grandfathered under the old sign code, so we might as well keep them. Well, I'm not going to talk about ghost signs today, but last year after the forecast, somebody came up to me and said, hey, you know, that was funny and kind of clever, but aren't you a little off topic? Shouldn't you be talking about office buildings and office vacancy? And I thought, yeah, that's a pretty good point. Since those were retail signs that I took pictures of. But then I thought, all commercial real estate is related. You know, it all makes up the fabric of our city. Land sales become residential neighborhoods. Retail follows rooftops. Office follows retail. Industrial has its own support thing going on. Apartments, everything gets financed and everything gets appraised. So it's all related. It's all connected. That's why today I'm going to talk about Legos. Yeah, that's right. When I was a kid growing up, I loved playing with Legos. Who played with Legos? Oh, come on, we all played with Legos. Legos were everywhere. I loved Legos. And I always asked for them for birthdays and Christmases. The way that Legos are packaged, they come in a box, and on the cover of the box, there's a big picture of the main model that you can build with this set of Legos. In this case, it's the Star Wars Millennium Falcon. When I would get a new set of Legos, I'd tear it open and I'd find the instruction book and I'd pull it out and I'd follow everything step by step until I built the model on the cover of the box. Play around with that for a couple days, and after I got bored with that, then I would get to my favorite part about playing with Legos, which was I'd tear the whole thing apart down to the bare components, and then I'd build something new. I'd come up with something in my head, use my imagination and creativity to build something that had never existed before. That was my favorite thing about Legos, and that's why they never got old to me, because I could always come up with something new. As I became an adult, I don't play with Legos too much anymore, only on days ending in Y. But what I do now, spend my weekends on is home improvement. I've lived in the same house for 13 years, and pretty much gutted and rebuilt every inch of my house, done it all myself. A couple years ago, it was a Saturday, and I had just demoed a wall between the kitchen and the bathroom, and I was rebuilding it, cutting 2x4s, hanging drywall, and running wiring, that sort of thing. And I took a breather, and I was like, man, why do I love this so much? I'm really enjoying this. And I knew part of it was I'm improving my space. I'm improving the house that I own and that I live in. And it wasn't until a couple weeks later that the answer came to me, and I thought, you know, everything that I loved about playing with Legos as a kid, I love about home improvement. I get to take these bare components, 2x4s and drywall that exist everywhere else, and I could get to come up with something, take something in my head, use my hands, and make it real down here on planet Earth. I thought it's all the same things that I loved about Legos growing up. And then a year later, it came to me that was a big thing that got me into commercial real estate. Legos, you use your hands and your mind to create a model of the Millennium Falcon. Home improvement, you can renovate your bathroom or your kitchen or whatever. But in commercial real estate, and everybody in this room, we all have an opportunity to shape and affect the fabric of our community. And so, the question that I want to pose to all of you is, what kind of community, yeah, I made you jump, didn't I? What kind of community do you want to build? Can I get an amen? All right. Do we want to build what's on the box? Do we want to build what's on the cover of the box? Because I guarantee you they have this exact same set of Legos in Houston and Boston and Atlanta. Or do we want to think outside of the box of Legos and build something new and cool and different and uniquely Tucson? Do we want to build the same old retail center, the same old office park, the same old industrial complex? Or do we want to build something new and cool and different? That's what I want to do. Here's a great example. Rattlesnake Bridge, you all know this downtown on Broadway. I remember when this was proposed and the artist was working on it, it was in the papers and people said, oh, it's going to be the laughing stock of the city, oh, it's going to be an eyesore, it's going to be terrible, what a terrible idea. Not everybody said that, of course, but a lot of people said that. And the artist, I forget his name, but he just kept plowing on and boom, he built it, and now it's a huge hit. And I talk to people who have never even been to Tucson and they say, hey, you got that cool snake bridge thing, don't you? And I say, yeah, we got that cool snake bridge thing. You know what's even cooler? What's that? It rattles at you when you walk across it. Really? Wow, that's awesome. I got to take my son to see that. You're right, you do. You got to take your son to Tucson to see the Rattlesnake Bridge. It only exists here. Great example of something that's new and different and unique and unique to Tucson. Now let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that somebody in this room designs and gets financing for and builds a new office tower in downtown Tucson, 20 stories tall, that's shaped like this, like a saguaro cactus. All right, I'm just talking hypothetically, right? Just hypothetically speaking. But 20 stories tall, shaped like this, and green, a giant saguaro cactus office building. You come around, you're coming south from Phoenix, you come around Bush Ridge, and there you see this giant 20-story tall saguaro cactus. Let's take it a step further, let's make it LEED certified, and let's make it super energy efficient. That building would be the most photographed building in the state, maybe even the country. To take one of the icons of the Sonoran Desert and jack it up and make it huge and make an office building and make it LEED certified. That thing would get international, global press. Okay, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Now I'm not going to put my dollars into a giant cactus building. But I might think about it. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So the question is, what kind of community do we want to build? Do we want to build on the cover of the Legos box, or do we want to think outside of the box and make something new and unique and cool to Tucson? That's what I want to do, and that's what I want all of you to help me do, because after all, Tucson is just one big box of Legos. All right, on to the office vacancy.